if you could leave your audience with one final piece of advice, something that's within their control, within their power as it relates to effectively dealing with crisis, regardless of the role, regardless of the field that individuals are in, what would that advice be?
Well, at the Giants, I was kind of famous for a few little Staciisms, and they're not new, but I talked a little bit about explaining the method to your madness, and keep it simple. The one that I would leave you with is really two. One is rip the Band-Aid. It's not going to get easier as you let these things fester out in the world. If it's a perception of an organization, like rip the Band-Aid off, tell people what's going on as much as you can, and try to move through the crises. Don't try to hide from it like a bunker so that's one. And then the last thing is look, this all boils down to respect and trust. If you respect your stakeholders, if you respect the audiences and you treat them like adults and you acknowledge when you can't provide the information you can, but promise to do so as quickly as you can, I think goes a long way in establishing this trust and relationship that you need to have with media, employees, external factors.
Excellent. Those Staciisms are very wise. Kurt?
Transparency and honesty, first and foremost. You have to tell people what you know, when you know it, that you can within the limits that you have to work with, as often as you can. And sometimes it's not very much, and it'll grow as you go. But that has to happen. And the best spokesperson for your organization is you, the CEO, the leader, whoever owns that particular problem. Do it in conjunction with someone like Staci and myself in the legal department and everything else. Don't just hop on the PowerSpeaking live webcast and webinar to spout knowledge.
And go rogue.
Or go rogue or get a headset that works. But do that. And finally, I would tell people to really think about what a crisis is to you. There's existential crisis. Is my organization going to survive this? There's change management, which is a crisis to your employees. That's why there's a lot of similarity between crisis communications and change communication. But what's really a crisis, and there's, I guess, what's important is where you sit. So you're going to have to measure that, and you're going to have to work with that. But understand that some crises, you come through, smelling like roses, and sometimes you just come through. Everyone's not going to be, we just won, the most, wonderful thing ever. Sometimes it's, we survived that. It just depends on the nature of the crisis. But as long as you're there the next day to fight again and to keep doing what you're doing as a business or an organization, then you weathered the storm.
Excellent. Excellent words of advice to close with.